no, Australia's over. The deep state has ingrained itself in our institutions deeper than this next sentence. Herb is the healing of a nation. Alcohol is the destruction. Pretty deep. It's also true. It will be over as soon as Prime Minister Anthony Albanese executes his secret plan to win the next election and successfully change Australia's constitution. How's he going to do this when he failed the first time to change Australia's constitution? I hear you blue-pilled longhouse soy bugmen asking me. Listen and learn, simps. He's setting up Cameron Murray, the captain of the Souths, Australia's Travis Kelce, if you will, to have a whirlwind romance with Nikki Webster, Australia's Taylor Swift. Then, in October, South Sydney is going to win the grand final. This is already rigged, mark my words, this is definitely going to happen. And, as the man of the match, Cameron Murray is about to receive the Clive Churchill Medal, he'll call Nikki Webster up to the podium, as he'll not only be the one getting the nice shiny new piece of jewellery that night, he's going to propose. But here's the kicker. He's not just going to be saying, Nikki, will you marry me? Oh, no. He's also going to be saying, Nikki, will you marry me? And will you endorse Anthony Albanese as president of the new Globo Homo Republic of Australia? And to that, Nikki will respond, yes, I will. And then it'll be too late. The deal will be sealed, the massive Nikki Webster mania that has been sweeping over Australia will kick in, and Albo will have enough political capital to do whatever the hell he wants for a very long time. Which means, say goodbye to liberty and hello to eating bugs. Dutton will be finished. There'll be no way he can overcome Albanese being endorsed by Australia's musical juggernaut, not even Dutton railing against 85% of Australians getting a bigger tax cut under Albanese. Not even that'll be enough to convince Australians that he's the better man for the job. Well, in case you haven't gathered, and I don't blame you if you haven't, this video is about the Stage 3 tax cuts, which I don't think you've probably thought about that much unless you're one of those Rich Australia Institute boomers with a government findom fetish. Oh, please just tax me more. Yes, fucking take it. I don't deserve this much money. Seriously, you have too much money and time if you're complaining about being taxed too little. I guess I have too much time because this video is about how the Albanese government's changes to Stage 3 tax cuts are good news. Well, actually, I don't know if these changes affect me at all. I let my accountants handle all of that shit. And plus, my tax bracket depends greatly on whether you buy tickets to my live show or not. So come on, support Australia's finances, buy a ticket to my live show, and don't accuse me of having a findom fetish, accuse me of having a parasocial obsession with Treasurer Jim Chalmers, which I definitely do. Did you know that he listens to Illy?
The one I listen to most when I'm doing something substantial is there's a track by Illy called Same Number, Same Hood.
I'm desperate to know his thoughts on Cursor versus 360. But it'd be fucking Cursor. My loyalty to him is stronger than Labor, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, after making fun of them profusely, allow me to refer to Australia Institute for most of the points of this video. 85% of taxpayers are going to be better off. I think that that's enough to sell Labor's changes on their own. So at this point, my advice to Peter Dutton would be, maybe stop accusing Labor of backflipping. It's like accusing a gymnast of backflipping. Everyone's stoked on the gymnast. They just did a mad backflip, Dutton. Everyone enjoyed it. The only way I think Dutton could be successful in sowing doubt about these tax cuts is if he makes this single point. Jim Chalmers probably wrote up these changes whilst listening to Same Number, Same Hood by Illy. You're not meant to listen to that whilst writing Australia's macroeconomic policy. That is a song for playing through broken Bluetooth speakers while you're coming down from meth riding the Frankston line. More people in Australia are going to have more money under Albanese's tax cuts. Almost 3 million Australians that weren't going to get a tax cut under the coalition are now going to get a tax cut under Albanese. This hasn't stopped the coalition from attempting to go on the attack, although it is a much more timid attack than I expected. When the backflip was originally announced, I suspected that there was going to be jubilation within the coalition. With the press release, Prime Minister starts the year with a broken promise. They were probably thinking, oh fuck boys, it's in the bag. We got another carbon tax here, lad. But at some point, reality would have started to set in when a news poll came out showing that 62% of Australians supported the changes, and faced with the prospect of denying 85% of Australians a larger tax cut, Dutton followed realpolitik and conceded, supporting Labor's changes, but not without a fight. Listen to this.
We support it on the basis not of supporting his lie, but of supporting families who are hurting as a result of bad decisions he's made. Not supporting the lie, but you are supporting the policy. The families who deserve that money. But the families get that money because of the policy. And they won't get it until July, as you would point out.
Fucking hell, Clark and Dawn never did die, did they?
Well, one of them's still alive.
Well, the act's dead, at least. He could pull it off. Dutton does look like John Clark if he returned from the dead and wasn't happy with what he saw. But let's break this down. You're supporting Albanese's policies not to support Albanese, but to support the taxpayers who are hurting from Albanese's policies. That is truly amazing, Dutton. Why spend 15 minutes squirming, reciting sophistry on this shit point that you're losing, coping and seething about having to support an overwhelmingly popular policy of Albanese's, whilst at the same time trying to criticise Albanese for it? Go back to what you were doing before. Say you support it, but he's a beater. This is actually a uniquely poor performance from Dutton. The wedger has been wedgied. Dutton's superpower is saying no, and Labor forcing him to say yes. That's his kryptonite. Well, what is that gay guy from Sex and the City not like? Look, I do apologise. This isn't a great way to shoehorn in a joke, but I really wanted to point out that if Dutton's suits were just 30% gay, you could look like Stanford from Sex and the City if he dressed a little bit more like Alan Jones. Okay, so now that that's been shoehorned in, we're going to get into the joke that I really want to shoehorn in. You know how Alan Jones is out of work and should have been on Sex and the City his whole life? Ladies, it's a pleasure to have you here. Now, let's deep dive into the topic of relationships. What's your take on love in the big city? As I sat in Alan Jones's swanky New York studio, I wondered if the shock jock's aversion to wind farms goes beyond the turbines. Could it be a metaphor for a deeper struggle with self-acceptance? In this city of secrets, his resistance hints at a more personal battle, a vulnerability hidden beneath strong opinions. Perhaps amidst the whirlwind of change, there's a chance for us all to embrace authenticity and understanding. In this constant reinvention, let's dance to the rhythm of our own hearts, open to the unexpected journey that awaits. Yeah, so anyway, if you can't tell, ChatGPT wrote that joke. But I stand by, it's not as bad as writing tax policy using fucking Illy as inspiration, Chalmers. Shame. But even worse, Sky News business editor Ross Greenwood had to be listening to Viper when he came up with this way of spinning tax cuts for low-income earners.
Those people on very low incomes do not pay very much tax anyway. And so this is really, in many ways, a welfare handout to many of those people, baked into the tax system and therefore not able to be taken away in the future. If it was one-off benefits, you might understand it. But as inflation is coming down, their wages are rising. And so as a result, this is going to turn around and future governments are going to maybe find themselves in a position where they're wondering why this government gave away so much money to so many people at this time.
First, check out the ratio. Not even Sky's own audience takes kindly to tax cuts being equated to welfare handouts, but that argument is nuts, as it's basically saying that low-income earners are getting a handout because they already benefit from the fact that they live in society and they make use of the programs our elected officials have decided that our tax should go to in order to improve society. It's fundamentally based on the assumption that volatile and abstract market forces are a 100% accurate marker of someone's work ethic and overall value to society, which, trust me, as someone who works in YouTube, I can tell you with all sincerity they are not. There are exceptions, of course, Onision, Keemstar, Daddy05 to name a few, but that fact should be obvious enough to you guys. You just sat through a clip of two overpaid knuckleheads whinging about cleaners getting too much of their own money. Who do you think deserves a tax cut more? Plus, it's not even like high-income earners are going to be worse off. People earning $200,000 a year are still going to get a $4,500 tax cut. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those freaks that gets off on paying more tax or imagining that others should be paying more. I'm not someone who pretends to be excited about my civic duty of paying tax. It's inhuman. It's like polyamorous people that insist they've suppressed their jealousy. No, you have not, and no one likes paying tax. It's okay. You can be honest about it. I just think making everyone richer is a good thing. It's an easy position to have and to justify, unless you've got some spiritual objections or something, which, to that I say, come on. Surely the more jet skis there are around, the more zen everyone's going to be. The sound they make drowns out the anxious inner monologues of modern man, and I imagine they bring a calming joy to the broad-faced, small-testicled, overly aggro demographic that rides them. But yeah, that's the point of the video. Australia is at risk of falling in the control of chairman, or should I say, chair they, them, Albanese. Permanently. With his popular tax cut policy and his Nikki Webster South Sydney October surprise plan. Dutton, you better think of something quick to stop it. And I don't think positioning the coalition as the party of drunk larrikins is having the intended effect. On second thoughts, I do love Barnaby more than ever. Yeah, it's a brilliant move.